And let's go to the Philippines a century hence, the last essay of Dr. Jose Rizal. And another quotation, a very beneficial quotation of Dr. Jose Rizal: law has no skin, reason has no nostrils. O diba? Ang batas daw ay walang balat, walang kinikilala, mapamahirap ka man o mayaman, mataas man ang iyong nakuha or napag-aralan, at ang rason ay walang nostril, walang pang-amoy, walang kinikilala or walang alam, kundi lamang ang pagiging marahas nito. When we say marahas in a good terms, the law is harsh but it is the law. Yun yung tinatawag natin. The law has no skin, reason has no nostrils. And again, when we talk about the Philippines a century hence, Spain's implementation of the military policies. When we talk about it, the Philippines a century hence is an essay written by Dr. Jose Rizal to forecast the future of the country within hundreds of years. And Rizal felt that it was time to remind Spain in the circumstances that ushered in the French Revolution could have been telling effect or for the Philippines. And this essay talks about the analysis of the various cases or causes of the miseries suffered by the Filipino people. And when we talk about the first statement, Spain's implementation of their military policies. Because of such laws, the farmlands were left to wither, the family as a unit of society was neglected, and overall, every aspect of the life of the Filipinos was retarded. O ang dami palang aspeto noon na tinanggalan ng karapatan. Yung farmland ay pinabayaan, yung family as a number one unit of the society pinagpaliban, and yung aspeto ng pamumuhay ng Pilipino noon ay very neglected. And will be the deterioration of the disappearance of the Filipino indigenous culture. When Spain came with the sword and the cross, it began the gradual destruction of the native Philippine culture. Because of this, the Filipinos started to sing or started losing confidence in their past and their heritage, and because of doubtful of their present lifestyle, and eventually lose hope in the future and the preservation of their race. During that time, kapag ang isang tao ay member ng cultural minority, it is being neglected because Spanish or Spaniards during that time wanted to spread their culture, their nationality, their ethnicity, their race to overboard or go beyond the Filipino people and its culture. Third would be the passivity and submissiveness to the Spanish colonizer. One of the most powerful forces that influenced the culture of silence among the natives were the Spanish friars because of the use of force, and the Filipino learned to submit themselves to the will of the foreigners. O nagiging passive tayo noon, nagiging medyo geek tayo, hindi tayo masyadong nagkikipaglaban at hindi tayo masyadong vocal sa ating mga opinion noon, kasi kapag nagsalita ka noon, patay ka. And I think today's society medyo applicable yun, kasi sometimes when you are too vocal, you can be deemed as lefty, diba? Pero there's nothing wrong to be vocal as long as you are in the right side or in the right path. Next would be the questions Rizal raised in the essay. Keeping the people uneducated and ignorant had failed. Nag-failed pala ang mga Spaniards noon na hindi tayo pag-aralin, because when the Thomasites came here, parang naging progressive yung education system ng Pilipinas. And keeping the people impoverished also came to know of it. Hindi sila nagtagumpay na gutumin tayo, na hindi tayo makakain, na hindi tayo maging successful sa life. And during the time, medyo slow lang yung progress natin when it comes to different aspects like education, livelihood, and social life. Pero it becomes a stepping stone and a leverage for us to be beneficial and progressive during that time, and nagawa noon ng mga Pilipino dahil na rin sa tulong ng mga hero natin. Third would be exterminating the people as an alternative to hindering progress did not work either. And when we talk about this, the Filipino race was able to survive amidst the wars of famine and become even more numerous after such catastrophes. To wipe our nation altogether would require the sacrifice of thousands of Spaniards or Spanish soldiers, and this is something Spain would not allow. Hindi nila inalaw noon na medyo malugi sila kasi gustong-gusto ng Spanish or gustong-gusto ng mga Spaniards noon na kawawain ng Pilipino, pero it would take a lot or it would take a gut to lose sometimes, and gusto nila noon na talunin ang Filipino when it comes to agriculture and other industries and fields of specialization, pero hindi sila nagtatagumpay kasi it would take a great asset from them, because kapag nawalan sila noon, baka pwede tayong mag-succeed, which in the lead or the latter part naging beneficial yung part noon. So, and with that being said, the Spain had no means to stop the progress of the country. What she needs, or what they need to do, was to change the colonial policies so that they are in keeping with the needs of the Philippine society and the rising of nationalism of the people. Kaya yung ina-attribute natin kay Jose Rizal is nationalism and patriotism, which in-instill niya ito sa atin or to our ancestors, and even up to this day we can reflect to him as a national compatriot or a nationalist, and because of that we are being reflected in a good sense. This was in fulfillment of what he had written in his essay, quote unquote, "History does not record in its annals any lasting domination by one people over another, of different races, of diverse usage of customs, of opposite and divergent ideas. One of the two had to yield and succumb." And finally noon, naging beneficial or na-realize natin ang ating independence, naging natin during the light, brighter spot. And I think that would be credits, or let's give credits to our ancestors, especially to our heroes. And with that being said, another trivia and facts about the Philippines a century hence. It was originally written in Spain or Spanish. It translates to Filipinos de 100 años. It was published in La Solidaridad in 4 installments from September 30, 1889 to February 1, 1890. It was a 17-page essay. So here, there's a timeline I made that a timeline about the 3 essay. First is February 22, 1889, letter to the women of Malolos was written in London, response to Marcelo H. Del Pilar. From September 30, 1889 to February 1, 1890, it took a year for Rizal to write this essay, which is The Philippines a Century Hence. This essay was published in La Solidaridad in Madrid. Ang La Solidaridad pala ay ito yung parang newspaper nila noon na naging lathalaan ng mga Pilipinong manunulat para ipamulat sa mga Filipino people na baluktot ang pamamahala ng mga Spaniards. And last but not the least, the July 15 to September 15, 1890. The Indolence of the Filipinos was originally written in Spanish and also was published in La Solidaridad in 5 installments. And there are following questions that you need to answer. First, What is the salient point of the essay entitled "To the Young Women of Malolos," and how can we apply it in today's time and age? Second would be, at present times, how should Filipino address such indolence? And as future educators, why should it be mitigated? Third, the Philippines a Century Hence was a forecast essay by Dr. Jose Rizal to the future of the country within 100 years during the Spanish colonization. In your own opinion, are there any forecasts that have been proven or realized? Expound your answer. And you can just put your answers in our GC or message us. And I think that ends our presentation. And there are questions or following questions that you need to answer. And this would end or conclude my presentation about the essays of Dr. Jose Rizal. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Goodbye.